Hello. So this is the final commentary regarding animation from my education, you could say. There are like two more films I've made, which you'll see, but those are just a haphazard adaptation, which I attempted, or haphazard legion. The pixelated ones I've made, but regardless, this is definitely the last one in the era of education. And so during between the second and third year, there were, if we had time to think, what we would like to do, for our animation for the final film, and the final film did have to, be because you can almost do anything, but as long as it had like a good style, a clear theme, just presented well enough, and also the pre-production, as I said in the teacher commentary, instead of like the massive website portfolio. Oh, yeah, sorry, I'll start playing this as I chat. But yeah, on like the website, um, it's not playing, is it? No. In the portfolio, instead we only had to send a couple of images and clips to show the progression, even with a megabyte limit as well. So we had to show some really good stuff, and I think we all did our best. I think I certainly did. I was very selective. But yeah, so we only allowed to do like some rough ideas and some rough planning, and this is where I came up with two ideas. So I came up with this idea first, but then I also came up with the Hooters, which I talked about before, and of course the Hooters won. When talking about both ideas with the tutors, because like if this film right here is about showing like the downsides of copyright and how it kind of bites back at you, but uni was very about how inspiration is actually good, or unless it does go too far. But yeah, they just weren't the biggest fan of this premise. So yeah, once again, the Hooters was just far more straightforward. Which so yeah, because I think that this animation is just very cool at parts, and but yeah, really. So anyway, so that once Hooters was made, this was also I just started making this in my own time, and yeah, because I really wanted to create a crossover animation. Just remember coming up with all sorts of ideas, and I just thought, yeah, this could be really cool, just like a end of culmination kind of piece of work. And but yeah, let's start breaking it down. So yeah, a fun fact: I did the storyboard of this in the car because we had like a long car journey, so we'd go in there forward and backwards. Yeah, I used the time well, and I think there were only like a couple of shots that were cut out, just to help with the efficiency of the pacing. But yeah, I think that's pretty much how it is. Yeah, so Aedi is idea backwards because the story follows this figure here who, he browses my YouTube channel and he's inspired by my creations, and yeah, and then he just tries to steal the characters, and I come back to get them. And um, yeah, let's just go from scene by scene. So, got the main title fades in and it glows whenever you're ready, of course. And then it fades in. This is partially rotoscoping, because yeah, that's me and a rotoscoped, and but yeah, as you can see with the character, it's outlined and with the red eyes as well, but the lines are really squiggly, so yeah, it just looks like a messed up sketch. And yeah, this is actually my desk. Um, yeah, just not outlined. Yeah, just cool zooming in shot, and then yeah, he's on a I managed to screen record that. Yeah, so he's in an After Effects competition. What's in the? Oh, okay, he's got a couple of footages. Okay, but yeah, this is also his laptop as well. And then we go into outside of his mind. His mind's not the best. They're just Photoshop drawings that are looped. There is a lot of looping in this animation, which makes it a bit cheap at times, but never mind. Yeah. Although before going on to my YouTube channel, he struggles to think of his own ideas, kind of speaks himself, and then he's like, oh, what can I find? And so yeah, that's what my channel used to look like. And yeah, and as he browses, he comes across every relevant character. You know, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And then yeah, and it looks like yeah, because I think because yeah, all of these are his powers, which you know he managed to get hold of. Although they don't really come from animation really, but I guess you can infer that he's maybe you could say that he's been nicking ideas for ages, and you know he's managed to get powers, you know, out of like previous characters, like just other characters elsewhere, and you know now he's going about to go for mine and you know convert them into additional powers. And say maybe it could be done after finding my channel. I've done this collection beforehand. Maybe he's tried to come up with other ideas, only to them just go, you know, this is like the powers he's got so far, and now he wants some more. And now he summons his ally. You can see what his land is like outside, and this is a 3D room that was you know drawn upon as well. Anyway, so he summons his goon. He's faded in. Hang on, spoilers. It's a bit of a big bit of footage as well, wasn't it? Yeah, so you can see the henchman like faded in, which is kind of cool. Yeah, Aedi has a variety of spells, and yeah, Aedi is basically like someone you know if you're trying to be imaginative. So he summons him, and he's like, hey, you know, I've got a quest for you, and then yeah, it looks like he forms this entire building. Yeah, that's pretty much how I planned it. Yeah, it's just a very cheap looking plan, but you can see Aedi's hand on it. Anyway, so I managed to copy over the style, considering on a couple of years later. Yes, I carried it over. Yeah, the look, and yeah, look at all of that. It just looks like a proper sequel. But the hunter comes in and he has portals. Did he? No, I think he's just gone behind the portal. That's a bit lazy of me. Oh well. I like the water dripping off though. Although what I will say is that the sea does loop far too quickly. I think it should have been slowed down on more frames. So yeah, but you can see the hunter's hand, so you can infer that's him. And you know, here's the boxer who has a completely different look. So instead of roughly 2D animated like the turtle, he's rotoscoped as well. And this is a 3D room, as you can see. Hunter comes in and he teleports. Now the boxer's looking the wrong way. At least see it matches with that shot, but you know, it's still the wrong way. And then kind of leads to a shot that's vaguely okay, you know, with the way the camera zooms in and he starts running, but yeah, it's not the greatest. But yeah, you can see the ceiling, and yeah, just wish I kind of covered it, because I guess maybe it's like a white corridor or more of an abstract land. That's what I said. But anyway, so this guy catches the box with the portal. Oh yeah, you can just see the edge of the post-it notes there. Oops. Anyway, so they're back. I managed to keep them safe, as evident by a short I've made on YouTube. And yeah, it looks like they're made up of 5 life forms, or maybe it is just one being. But anyway, as inspired by my yeah, the RSA animation drawn on top to form the translation. Yeah, there you go. And yeah, because yeah, I think he suddenly loses the hat, and you know then the apple. I think it would have been hard to maintain them both, considering I didn't have a hat to do the rest of rotoscoping. But I think that's why the blades are odd at times, because you know the blade wasn't rotoscoped, so that was just roughly animated once again. Anyway, the post-it note is in a completely different land, 3D, and all of these in the background is drawn, but just chopped and digitized, and it looks kind of cool. Anyway, so that lazily blue circle was a beam going across him, and yeah, he's rotoscope, by the way. So he gets sucked in, and here's the RSA figures. Yeah, and it's nice. Yeah, this is nighttime, by the way, hence why it looks a lot more darker. But yeah, even he gets sucked in pieces. Is he? Partially. Anyway, so he's caught. I don't know why the others weren't caught, but oh well. And then that's where, yeah, all of them look different, as in, because start traveling into an ultimate dimension, so that's why the figure now is 2D. So once again, just more rotoscope him, and now we're in the prison, just in this other land, and even the color grade in here, it's mostly red, and it gets blue later, as you'll see. Just a nice subtle thing. But anyway, the figures like looking around, being like, what's going on. You can see how all of them look different. The figures just lazily going back and like tilting left and right. He's not even part of the floor, and he doesn't even fly. But yeah, just roughly drawn from the top. At least you can see more the cell is like. But yeah, not the biggest fan of that shot, but I like this at least. Just seeing all the characters like greet each other in this way. But yeah, you can see how different they look. And then yeah, this is where Aedi is contacting his henchman, being like, well, better get a move on, because running out of ideas, despite being in a great load already. And as you'll see later on, and also you can access in my YouTube channel, I've recreated the Cat Lady music video in some way. But yeah, just mixing it with real footage, it's kind of amusing. But anyway, just their shot there. He's got his own phone which you can take in and out. Yeah, no dialogue in it. I'm not able to speak these actions. Oh yeah, this is a weird thing. The hunter's arm is chopped, and also you can see this screen right here. It had to shrink. I must have not known how to put the footage behind Aedi, not fill the screen. So that's a bit lazy of me. The laptop is rotoscope though, drawn on top of. But yeah, look at the left arm. It just grows. Anyway, it looks like some kind of pocket for his phone. Then I have all sorts of ideas of how to break down the door. So he looks like he summoned the spirit. That sword was partially like an asset of its own. Yeah, you can see the turtle was just roughly drawn, like the others who are actually rotoscoped. Yeah, the sword isn't the best animated there. But yeah, it's just cut from one beam to the next, and yeah, it tries to whack the door. Anyway, the 3D door opens, and the hunters charge up his energy, trying to scare them back. And then there's some fuzzy effects around. Oh no, I thought there was some effects around him. Did I accidentally cut them off? I'm not sure. Anyway, so a bit in shock, and not the best tracking with how he's grabbed. I think he looks better here, but not so much later on. Anyway, the box is pushed back through a beam, and the door is closed again. Box is kind of out. Oh yeah, you can see a small flicker of a layer. Once again, just After Effects just not always being good at keeping layers to itself. Anyway, so he walks into the room, and despite being 2D in a 3D background, it's kind of seamless. And yeah, I think it's because it shrinks over time. Because yeah, if you just had the Photoshop thing in the same size and then you shrink it over time, that's where it looks more natural. Not to mention, I think the 3D environment could have done with more detail. I think I was going to draw more on top of it, but at the moment I like this kind of bland. I like this effect though, so yeah, this is a transparent 3D thing, and the being is, well, the blue figure
has, just very little opacity, which makes him look like he's inside. So yeah, that's cool. Oh, he's flickered a bit. Never mind. But yeah, maybe I put the layer in front. I might have chopped it and put it in front. Not sure. Anyway, yeah, the machine has no lid, but oh well. And that button isn't actually pressed. Yeah, maybe it's just like a tapping thing, just by being still. But yeah, not the best. And I think this is pretty much creative green energy. Whether it's nicking ideas or stealing powers for Aedi, I'm not sure. And it also probably look a bit weird because if these are all about the spells, then why need the machine? But yeah, I don't know. You can tell that my Haphazard stories are far better written than this. But yeah, this is just like a transition effect. Yeah, that's a color grading, but then this transition effect that colors him, and it's duplicated. You can see how one of them's suddenly not green, but the way he's sucked in, it's kind of cool. But where does it suck into? Oh, it sucks into the cylinder, which we'll see later on. Boxer tries the door again. The turtle's trying to get some ideas. The turtle's accidentally laid in front of the boxer despite being behind, but oh well. Hunter's quickly coming back. He could have brought them all at once, but I suppose he's a one at a time kind of person. Anyway, all the powers are combined. The spirit, the sword, and yeah, there you go. He charges. The head looks a little bit weird there. I don't know why. If you just see what it looks like. Not here. Yeah, a bit more looping. Yeah, it just looks a bit bizarre. Not to mention the hunter. Anyway, sorry about that. Is it recording? It is, yeah, okay. Anyway, so let's get on with where I was at. So yeah, a bit of a fault. So yeah, the hunter accidentally stands still at the centre of the corridor later. So yeah, without really reacting. There's an X behind there, so you get to see more of the geography. Anyway, the door's nicely thrown open, and I like the way the boxer positioned, but you can see how his foot is accidentally over, just standing on top of the wall there, so not the best. Yeah, because when you chop the edges, I've done that loads to make the characters, fit in the world more. So yeah, loads of cases of this. I'll try and find an example later. Anyway, their methods are merged again. A lot of looping, and the sword was roughly animated. And yeah, a punch, the negative spirit, and the projectile sword. He's that's not quite interacted with the lunge properly, but anyway, he's down, and I don't think he should be lying against the wall because next up he's actually on the floor. That looks better for him, but yeah, not the best looking back. Anyway, so Aedi's getting a bit impatient. Sees that the hunt hasn't responded. Yeah, there was a foam ringing effect which you saw there, which was just flickering 2D. Alright, so this is where Aedi has an idea. So you can presume that they're going to try and save the blue figure, but then they see that Aedi's come out, and as you'll see, even though it's there's a bit over cropped here, so this is where the pen tool helped crop the land and even Aedi as well within the portal to really create that portal effect, and even the way he steps out of it, this seems really cool and seamless. And but anyway, you can see him also preparing to fight, and looks like they're trying. Oh, hang on, yep, the post-it notes sword is accidentally duplicated when you have a look. Oops. Yeah, because the aerials are part of him, and then it becomes another asset. But anyway, sword is thrown to him. Aedi's countered it, and you could see how it was drawn. Everyone's reaction, nice and slow, all animated despite the turtle being looped. I'm not the biggest fan of this though. I like how the fire came from the hands, but not only is the fire highly detailed, but then the way it just pushes them, it's just a tad odd looking back. And then the turtle is weirdly animated. It's just the beams just kind of disappear. I like this though. You can see how the lines are, just all jagged and just stops the spell. And the boxer is still down. Turtle's not doing anything. You can see how the turtle's a bit drawn in consistently. Anyway, so some plants grow out the ground despite the Post-it Note's action. And here he's like kind of tied up, and it's partially convincing. Even right here, I like this though. Just the way that the two are just interacting like that looks real and painful. But anyway, the inferences clarify further. He's like, hey, try and get to him. We'll try and hold him back. I get the Post-it Note. We should have talked about the other form. Anyway, he stands still and he shrinks, and I think the land was meant to look far bigger. Because if the guy did grow quite a bit after forming from the Post-it Notes, and the ground should have been far bigger. But regardless, he's in his number form, and the stop Post-it Notes come about. Oh yeah, you can see the green screen, unfortunately, because this was animated on some green paper, hence why they managed to fit in the scene. And I kind of still like how they interacted, even though they're stop motion elements, and I like how the land is made of stop motion as well. But maybe I could have done more stop motion so they could fit in more. Anyway, so the way they come about is rather cool. I can't believe these assets are about 5 years old. The way they just move about. It's just quite convincing that they really reflect off the floor. Not many elements have. Trying to animate reflections as well, that would be quite a feat, wouldn't it? Probably consider it next time. Anyway, so here we've got a really cool interaction shot, just extremely well timed. The way Aedi just avoids the hook and then pushes the boxer, and then he just falls back. All rotoscope with me. Aedi's pushed him away. Turtle then flies towards the screen, not the best animated. Even the way he just bounces off there is very convincing. I feel like Aedi should have fallen quicker. And he looks like he's found another solid object, which makes him fall back. At least the way he lands and bounces, that kind of helps with the detail, but not the best. Anyway, so then he starts using telekinesis, like the other rings are sticking with him. And I think some effects should have come about, because they're weirdly still, like the turtle's dangling, but not the boxer. And the hunter just, I don't know, why did I even give him a rucksack? I'm not sure. Maybe it was just, because in the original story they were having like a more of a proper meeting, and the rucksack was there to carry the can, and the can is where the when the blue figure turned into green energy and put into the can. That's why he was carrying it. But a lot of it being cut just means that it's far less. And it's just after the rotoscoping is done, it's just really easy to then convert it into other things, because look at the hunter there, it just turns into pixels. And once again, I really like the attention to detail I put with Aedi. So the floating maintained despite the O-ring, and he managed to perform another spell. And I think the two people here managed to, that he's carrying, they do like move a tad, but I think they just kind of looked a bit more natural. Anyway, just really impressive. Anyway, here's that's Apple, the Post-it Note. Just watching Aedi from afar, and this is where other chopping would have, the pen tool would have been drawn around the desk, so that Aedi is like behind the desk. So that's very well done. And you can see the Post-it Note just being on the land. Then transitions. The pen tool's not quite there yet. You can see how it's a bit grey at the top of the pipe. But anyway, so they spin around to try and unlock this thing. because that's what the machine leads to, as evident by the red line. And oh look, oh, it must have pen tooled it. Yeah, used the pen tool, to create this opacity layer. So, yeah, so they've fallen in. Aedi did look a bit weird and chopped, but anyway, it's about to press the button, but then it has reaction. The post-it notes all fly off. They're just images that were just keyframed. And anyway, the blue energies escaped. Not the best looking, but oh well. This does help him come back. Wasn't the most inline, as you could see, but as it faded out, and he's back at least, so that's nice. The claw, was just roughly animated as well. The building has the ceiling as well, that's nice. Yeah, not the best looking claw, but very scary perspective. He's reacted a bit slow, but gets defended. But yeah, despite me just dropping in, it would have been keyframed as I performed that Mandan action with the sword. But yeah, Aedi kind of backs off, and you can also see the colour grade change because, of me coming into the picture, just properly turning the tide. You can see that the green energy did this, but yeah, let me just watch this one more time. Yeah, the way it just falls off and the way it like cracks as it lands, it's pretty cool. Me coming back in that way, I could have improved the look of me, with the face isn't very consistent, and the shoes could have been blacked so it doesn't look like part of the jeans. But yeah, I like the green effect forming. As I slowly get up, yeah, Aedi looks a bit scared, yeah, looks rather dope. Kind of gives me chills. The way all of them land seem kind of cool. Bit of leaping there. You can see how all of them react as I'm like, nah, leave this to me. So opposed to fight, and oh yeah, the building behind just floats. There's no ground, despite being a window, so I guess that could have looked better. Anyway, time for a spell battle. So yeah, that was just roughly animated. The way it forms in is kind of cool. The angling's a bit odd because it looks like it's just come from the left, and I'm about to throw from the left. When I should be thrown ahead. Yeah, I should have angled the setting a bit more, and that should have been, that's where, that's where it could have worked. Yeah, all of my spells are like a reference, by the way. Yeah, so here's a block, coming, it's like an Easter egg coming from all the way back to the first animation. So single block, and it hits him quite convincingly. That's where he falls to plants again. The way it does grow, it's cool. I like how the ground cracks. Here's a flip flop, and because they form in crossover animation, what do I include? And I had the characters I wanted. Sadly, a Hootus, wasn't quite. In fact, what? Oh yeah, because I was making Aedi my own time as Aedi was being developed, so yeah, so that's why a Hootus didn't really fit it in. Would have been interesting, but yeah, I like Lisa Hootus is its own grander thing, and I didn't want to mix Haphazard in this either because this whole grander cinematic universe, you could say, it's just so abstract. Yeah, it doesn't make sense for Blades to come about, evidently. But yeah, this was just a full scene, just like a wide shot like this, because yeah, the camera's cut, the camera moves about as each blade is being chopped. Quite cool. The flip flop sadly it's just been whacked on because I wasn't actually holding the flip flop. It would have been better if I did because the flip flop would have looked more present. Anyway, the vines are chopped. That's cool. And then a shot of the ceiling, and the ceiling doesn't move, so yeah, I didn't really move the camera, but at least I moved Aedi. So yeah, he forms like a horizontal laser, and then this is why I formed the buildings that come from the VR thing, so that's a neat Easter egg. So that diminishes the laser. Then I used the flip flop again to get rid of his arm. So I didn't actually chop off my own arm, by the way, for the rotoscoping, but by the way, Aedi looks like he's about to form like a javelin, and you can definitely tell that he has stolen from, you know, a variety of other things, but obviously, you know, no reference to me. But yeah, the flip flop was, you know, TD drawn on its own again, and the way it goes forward, it disappears sadly. But anyway, so yeah, so the arm was just loosely animated, and then I had to pretend I had um, a yeah, just pretend to have one arm. Anyway, arm that's gone and fallen. Seems to recover. I like the hole, like the gap is pretty convincing. So he forms a laser. I don't know what that's a reference to. It's just a normal shield, I suppose. It looks like I'm nearly fallen off the edge. But I walked forwards against the laser. The laser is, I think it's vaguely in line. The maintains it, and then I shuffle and electrocute him. Don't know where the electrocuting comes from. Yeah, I don't know if that's any reference to any animation. But regardless, he's stunned and down. He's been defeated. And then they all cheer in their own ways. Bit of looping at times. And then I formed the book. Fun fact, I was holding the book under my chin and then form it, which is why, you know, because I wanted to interact with something properly, you know, here. So yeah, that's why I look a bit funny there. Anyway, book has been formed. Oh yeah, Aedi I think glitched a bit, but oh well. But yeah, just plain book, that's just given. And the way the arm grows back, yeah, because I rotoscoped that by, you know, when you like pull your arm through a sleeve and it like forms the sleeve. I kind of did that, and even the swirling here on my left arm, that could be a reference to, you know, the flower animation I did, because the swirly parts were done by me in that group lesson task. Oh yeah, I think that's another Easter egg there. But yeah, the way the arm forms then, yeah, I really like that. Yeah, it's just extremely innovative. And also, yeah, portal. I think I animated the portal first and then just bent it across so it fits that wall. Anyway, Aedi decides to get up, interacting with the book very well. And off he goes. And yeah, so I somehow know where he lives, so I teleported him back. And once again, you can see how the pen tool doesn't quite fit the room at times, but you know, all shrinks with him in the room, so cool effect on the surface. Anyway, I shot about 6 beams there, only needed 4. Anyway, and the portal effect's done once again, and you can see how each land stands out, some looking better than others. The rear land's the best one. So yeah, they're all surprised, and I think I just saw a small overlap, not to mention the hand should be in front of the portal, but oh well. And also you can see the bit of the portaling problem on the right, but anyway, so look at that, that looks rather good. I think it looks a tad off at the bottom, but yeah, the way he jumps through like that, because I wanted to make each entrance and exit like feel different. So he jumps through, not quite there, but oh well. It gets back to normal. The bit odd movement, a bit of white on the left, as you probably saw there, but at least the technique's maintained. The turtle somehow starts transformation as he enters, but at least I like the effect. Like, look at that. Anyway, so it looks like he's made onto another island, which is rather cool. There's no land on that portal there, so that's a bit daft of me. Yeah, because the other boxer has like the most similar land to Aedi, and you can also see sadly his head's been chopped. That's just because of the pen tool acting up. At least he's fully formed and also just back to normal. And yeah, considering the Person Notes was my first creation and my first proud animation, it's just a small homage to that. The water being placed like that, that's really cool. The sword, despite the sword being animated from scratch, that wasn't too bad actually. I was quite pleased with that. And so yeah, I've got yeah, I'm about to hand him an apple because yeah, he was about to eat one. Now I've got him another. The hand opening isn't the best thing, nor is the apple, but the idea is nice at least. Really like this shot as well. Once again, this portal technique I had is, this really cool. As you can see below, it's not pen tool's not quite in, and also because of the portal being enlarged, it's less HD unfortunately. But anyway, he jumps towards the land, which is cool. I think his head was a bit chopped then. But anyway, he just gets all his colour back, and it's just really satisfying. Then it accidentally cuts in, and not to mention you can see some scattering white line on the right, and I think that's because I kind of forgot the reason, because it wasn't the blue, like the green screen effect, unless I don't know, I must have failed to erase something. Also, his outlining's not fully black, so that's why it looks a bit odd. Yeah, I think, why did I cut, was there the cut then? Yeah, I kind of forgot why I did that. I think it was just to help fit one scene after the next, but I could have done like a fade in and out kind of thing. Anyway, so yeah, you can see how the frame isn't quite chopped in well, fortunately. They could have erased it in some way. Anyway, so quickly back to the normal post-it note things, and off they go. I don't know what they were doing all this time, but oh well. Anyway, because you can see how the Cat Lady music video's setting, yeah, reference to that by the way. So you can see how the green screen is like merging, the room's like merging with the area, especially with the lighting as well, so it looks really odd. Anyway, so yeah, to see the heads is there. But anyway, no buttons on the laptop by the way, oh well. Anyway, the video's gone, but the way that it closes is half decent. I don't think that blue rim on the right is meant to be there. But anyway, Aedi's looking at the book, minor interaction, he sees some dogs outside that are just drawn there. And when he was envisioning weird things, now he's got more of an original idea, that's where inspiration's a good thing. Sadly the book did flash as it landed, but at least it interacted okay with my desk. Time for original spell. And here's a dog. The only bother thing is the left eye. I don't know if I could have like kept more the left of the eye, but yeah, just the way I just animated one of my family's dogs. I don't know why it was black on the right as well. Do you see that weird shape how the dog was forming? Which is really odd. Anyway, I like the movement, which is really cool. Anyway, he's pleased. And it looks like it's about to spawn another idea. And then onto the credits. Oh, what? Did I? Oh, I think I chopped the credits. Okay, never mind. Let's just start from the beginning. Anyway, so as I conclude this, let's conclude the thing. So yeah, you can definitely tell how this is like my own love letter to all the education work, because it is a question of, because as you can tell at the moment I'm just really keen on promoting the Haphazard stuff, to try and find an engaging way as possible to gain more of an audience. And I say, if you just go on my YouTube channel there, you can see all sorts of characters like scattered around. That's just my approach to try and promote myself. Also, these links, some of them are outdated, so yeah. But yeah, look, all of these characters on the right, that you've come to learn. Yeah, oh my god, there's loads. Yeah, some from the short films and that. Anyway, so yeah, with the references and the animation techniques, I managed to pull off both old and new. And the story does have some problems, which I pointed out. It's a bit unclear at times, but I think the build up and like the low point, I really like them. And every time I come back on screen, it's in my animated form, it's extremely satisfying. And
Yeah, and funny enough, yeah, I haven't seen any other artist that's done this because, of course, us animators we like creating, our own stories, and it's often silly to cross them over. But once again, despite the idea a bit flawed in places, I think the way they mix together is just rather interesting at times. And yeah, just the rotoscoping, just often very good outside of a couple of areas. The 3D is fine. The rough 2D part's definitely the weakest part, but oh well. But yeah, the innovative parts, like the way they just fit in the 3D environment and the use of the pen tool, the portals, the transformation here as well. Yeah, it's just you can just see how my progression has gone from A to B, and consider what the first animation looks like and what I created here. Yeah, their contrast is just night and day, and yeah, and unless I'm in a much better position, I definitely need multiple softwares to pull something like this off again. Oh yeah, also the portal just stopped there, by the way, just flipped out, but oh well. Um, um, what was I saying? Kind of lost my train of thought, but yeah, it's just just seeing how far. Oh yeah, multiple softwares. Yeah, I would need multiple ones to pull off something like this again, which I guess we'll just have to wait and see. That's a montage, by the way. Yeah, the characters weren't just. Yeah, there's more of a reason why the characters were cutting in and out like that. Anyway, and um, and yeah, it's just like I said, it's just both the references, the overall story, just seeing how far I've come and the techniques. Yeah, it's just really cool. I think this with all the improvements fixed and maybe the story being clarified with extra or cut scenes. I think my university might have enjoyed it. If anything, the tutors might have seen it thanks to because I did add it to somewhere else, but yeah, there wasn't really much uh, of a talk about with this one. Although when I released the teacher film, this film, and a Hootus in a short span of time, this did get the most views. Yeah, considering being a crossover animation. Yeah, it's just um, yeah, it's just extremely innovative, and yeah, I think that's all I got to say. Yeah, just definitely I think. Yeah, I think if in the educational side of things, oh gosh, I really like the Flip Flop film. I'll have to go for that, and then the Olympic one's second. The RSA is next. The Aedi I'm still put on top of all of them, but um, as I say, I do like um, yeah, just a good majority, especially the uni films, and also just about how nostalgic the college ones were. And so yeah, I think I'll just start right there. So considering this is the end of the series, and we'll be covering the Haphazard animations because that would be fun. But other than that, yeah, this is pretty much the end of this era. Yeah. Um, I would have to see if I make another animation. I could even create a sequel, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see. So yeah, I think I'll let you go. I hope you enjoyed this analysis, and yeah, you can look at the sketchbook video if you want more of an idea how I planned it. And so yeah, I'll leave it there. See ya.